Far beyond the familiar routes of world travel, there exists a land where nature sets the rules, and humanity learns to endure rather than conquer. Here, winter is not a season, but a defining force, shaping landscapes, traditions, and the rhythm of life itself. Few places on Earth challenge the limits of survival as profoundly as this. This is Yakutia, also known as the Sakha Republic, the coldest inhabited region on the planet, where temperatures plunge below -60 degrees Celsius, and the ground remains frozen year-round beneath layers of ancient permafrost. Covering an area larger than many countries combined, Yakutia is a land of extremes and contradictions. Vast tundra stretches endlessly under polar skis, while powerful rivers like the Lena carve monumental stone pillars through frozen terrain. Beneath the ice lies immense natural wealth, diamonds, gold, and fossil records locked in time for tens of thousands of years. Yet Yakutia is not defined by cold alone. It is home to a resilient culture shaped by nomadic traditions, shamanistic beliefs, and a deep spiritual bond with nature. The Sakha people have learned to live in harmony with one of Earth's harshest climates, preserving ancient customs in a modern world. In this journey, we explore the geography that forged this land, the people who endure its extremes, and the silent beauty hidden within the frozen heart of Siberia. This is not just a place to visit, it is a world that redefines what it means to survive. Welcome to Yakutia. Yakutia, officially known as the Sakha Republic, is a land where geography dictates history with absolute authority. Here, winter dominates most of the year. Temperatures can plunge below -50 degrees Celsius, making Yakutia one of the coldest inhabited regions on the planet. The Lena River, one of Asia's great waterways, freezes solid for months, once serving as a winter road connecting isolated settlements across the wilderness. In summer, the same river becomes a lifeline, carving through dramatic limestone cliffs known as the Lena Pillars, now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. But Yakutia's history is not frozen in silence. Long before modern borders, this land was home to the Sakha people, a Turkic-speaking culture that migrated north centuries ago, adapting to one of the harshest environments humans have ever inhabited. Their survival depended on deep knowledge of nature, horse breeding in sub-zero temperatures, seasonal movement, and spiritual traditions rooted in animism and respect for the land. In the 17th century, Russian explorers pushed eastward into Siberia, drawn by fur, territory, and control of the Arctic frontier. Yakutia became a key outpost of the Russian Empire, but also a place of exile. During the Tsarist era and later under Soviet rule, this remote region was used to send political prisoners, writers, and intellectuals far from the centers of power. Many never returned. The Soviet period transformed Yakutia again. Beneath its frozen ground lay vast reserves of diamonds, gold, and minerals. Entire cities were built on permafrost, including Yakutsk, today one of the coldest major cities in the world. Yet even as industry expanded, traditional Saka culture endured, quietly preserved through language, festivals, and oral history. Yakutia's geography has always imposed limits, but it has also forged resilience. This is a land where nature cannot be conquered, only respected, and its history is written not in monuments alone, but in survival itself. Stretching across northeastern Siberia, it is the largest subnational region on Earth, larger than India, yet inhabited by fewer than 1 million people. Distance here is measured not just in kilometers, but in isolation, climate, and endurance. The defining geological force of Yakutia is permafrost. For thousands of years, the ground has remained frozen year-round, locking entire landscapes in ice. Cities, roads, and pipelines are built on stilts to prevent heat from melting the earth beneath them. Even cemeteries require special engineering. This frozen foundation has preserved Ice Age ecosystems, allowing scientists to recover intact mammoths, ancient wolves, and prehistoric plants, a frozen archive of Earth's distant past. Yakutia's climate is among the harshest ever recorded. In the village of Oymyakon, winter temperatures plunge below -60 degrees C, earning it the title of the coldest permanently inhabited place on the planet. Yet summer brings dramatic reversal. Long daylight hours and sudden warmth transform the tundra into a brief explosion of life. This extreme seasonal contrast has shaped both the land and the mindset of its people. The Lena River, one of the world's longest rivers, dominates Yakutia's geography. In summer, it serves as the main transportation artery. In winter, its frozen surface becomes an ice highway, connecting remote settlements otherwise unreachable. The river has long been the spine of human movement, trade, and survival in the region. Human history in Yakutia began with ancient migrations from Central Asia and southern Siberia. The Saka people adapted cattle and horse-based cultures to the Arctic frontier, blending pastoral traditions with deep spiritual relationships to nature. Shamanism formed the foundation of early belief systems, viewing mountains, rivers, and fire as living forces rather than resources. In the 17th century, Yakutia was incorporated into the Russian Empire, initially valued for fur and later for minerals. Today, it holds some of the world's richest diamond deposits, making it strategically vital far beyond its remote location. In Yakutia, geography is not passive scenery. It is a living pressure, shaping history, belief, architecture, and survival itself. Yakutia is not simply a cold place on the map. It is a land shaped by extremes so vast that geography itself becomes destiny. Covering nearly 1/5 of Russia's territory, Yakutia is the largest subnational region on Earth, stretching across endless tundra, taiga forests, frozen rivers, and permafrost that has remained locked in ice for tens of thousands of years. To understand Yakutia, you have to understand its people, because here, culture is not decoration, it is survival. The indigenous Saka people, also known as Yakuts, form the cultural heart of this land. Despite living in one of the coldest inhabited regions on Earth, they built a society centered on adaptation, endurance, and balance with nature. For centuries, life in Yakutia followed the rhythm of the seasons, where every decision, migration, food, shelter, meant the difference between survival and extinction. One of the most striking aspects of Saka culture is their relationship with animals. Horses are central to daily life and identity, bred specifically to withstand extreme cold. Even in winter, Saka horses can survive outdoors, digging through snow to find frozen grass beneath. Cattle, adapted to sub-zero temperatures, provide milk and meat, forming the backbone of traditional diets. Spiritual belief in Yakutia is deeply rooted in animism and shamanism. Nature is alive, inhabited by spirits of the land, water, and sky. Sacred trees, rivers, and mountains are treated with respect rather than ownership. Even today, ancient rituals coexist alongside modern life, especially during Usiak, the Saka New Year festival. Held in early summer, Usiak celebrates renewal, sunlight, and life itself, an important moment after months of darkness and cold. Language remains a powerful symbol of identity. The Saka language, Turkic in origin, is still widely spoken, even as Russian dominates administration and education. Storytelling, epic poetry known as Olonko, and oral traditions have preserved history where written records once could not. Olonko, recognized by UNESCO, carries myths of heroes, spirits, and moral codes passed down through generations. Modern Yakutia is a place of contrasts. In Yakutsk, people live in apartment blocks built on permafrost, work in mining, science, and education, yet still practice traditions rooted in ancient nomadic life. Young Saka filmmakers, musicians, and artists are gaining international attention, blending indigenous identity with modern expression. What defines the people of Yakutia is not the cold, but resilience. Culture here is not about resisting nature. It is about learning how to live within it, across centuries of isolation, hardship, and change. In Yakutia, winter is not a season, it is a condition of life. For several months each year, temperatures drop to -50 degrees Celsius, sometimes even lower. At this level of cold, nature no longer negotiates. Every movement, every routine must be planned with precision. Daily life here is not about comfort, it is about control. In the city of Yakutsk, the cold shapes everything. Cars are rarely turned off in winter. Engines left idle for hours, sometimes days, because restarting them could mean permanent failure. Parking lots become fields of steaming exhaust, where machines are kept alive as carefully as living beings. Clothing in Yakutia is not fashion, it is engineering. Four-lined boots, layered coats, and traditional garments made from reindeer and horse hide are designed to trap heat and block wind. Exposed skin freezes within minutes. Even metal becomes dangerous to touch. Food storage requires no electricity. Fish, meat, and dairy freeze naturally outdoors, preserved by the cold itself. At local markets, frozen fish are sold standing upright, solid as wood. Knives are used to shave slices directly from blocks of frozen food, eaten raw or lightly thawed. Despite the extremes, life continues with remarkable normality. Children go to school, shops remain open. Weddings, festivals, and daily routines follow a schedule shaped not by temperature, but by endurance. Schools only close when the cold becomes truly dangerous, even by Yakut standards. Yet survival in Yakutia is not just physical, it is psychological. Long winters bring months of darkness, isolation, and silence. To endure, communities rely on strong social bonds, humor, and shared resilience. Cold is accepted, not feared. In Yakutia, people do not fight winter. They adapt to it, master it, and ultimately live alongside it. At -50 degrees, survival is no longer instinct, it is culture. Yakutia is not a place that invites comfort. It challenges it. Here, survival is not an emergency response. It is a way of life, refined over generations. In a land where the cold dictates every decision, people have learned to live with precision, patience, and respect for nature's limits. Beyond the frozen rivers and endless winter roads lies something far more powerful than extreme temperatures. It is resilience, the quiet strength of communities who endure darkness, isolation, and silence without losing their sense of identity. Yakutia reminds us that human adaptation has no fixed boundary. When technology reaches its limits, culture takes over. When nature becomes unforgiving, tradition becomes shelter. This is not the end of the world. It is a different version of it. A place where life slows down, where survival becomes culture, and where the cold reveals just how resilient humanity can be. Thank you for traveling with us to one of the most extreme regions on Earth. This was Yakutia.